Yeah, it's the 18th day of February 2021. The whole United States has been under siege from Mother Nature. I want to show you the power of south-facing slopes. We've had right at 20 below zero with minus 35, 40 wind chills. And this is where the deer, I won't say anything, a picture's worth 1,000 words. I don't know how many deer have been in here. And this is at the pond. This would be the back side of the pond, south-facing slope. And this is planted in clover and chicory. And you can just see this has just been stomped and tromped. And who knows how many deer have been in here. But they pawed it out. And they've tried their best to find shelter and something to eat. There's even turkey tracks in here. It's just amazing. Now over here is something of interest. This is a south-facing slope where I hinge cutted somewhat, or basically just cut down some undesirable trees. And at one time, when I cut this path in here, or when I cut these trees down, I emphasized that there was only a path because there was no food. Well, that all changed in this cold weather. Now you can see the million feet print all over the place where these deer randomly selected to eat. I mean, this is all trailed up, and this is just mutilated with deer track that have been feeding on it. So, as that old adage goes, best food source provided is through the axe and the saw. And I'll tell you what, the deer track talk for themselves. They weren't in here. They were in there for one reason, to get that new growth off the top of those trees. And here again, it's in out of the wind. So when we had those severe cold days without sun, they could come in here and browse, and boy, I'll tell you what, browse they did. And just like I said, look, they really got in here and went to town on nibbling all. You can see where they nibbled all that top off, all these branches. I only had one camera, so I couldn't get the, various trees. But this was the first tree we cut down, and this trail goes right to it. It's just amazing. Totally amazes me. They just, all those deer tracks. Of course, one deer makes a lot of track, but they really got after it and bringing that top down to where they could benefit from it. And you can see all that browse on there. Now they're only going to eat back first couple of inches. And I guess the most nutrition part of it is not the green in the stem, but actually the bark, the fresh bark, the new bark. And that brings it, it's got more calories in it than what the green did. I didn't realize that, but this deer is all over in there. And I'm just showing you this too. If you want to do something in the wintertime, especially in a winter like this, bringing these undesirable trees down, just look at the hoof prints in here. Just unbelievable. And then when you get up here, the sun highlights this. You can see real clear where they've nipped it all off. And now what's left is firewood you can cut up but you fed the deer naturally. You can see they spent some considerable time underneath this cedar tree. I just had to show you the deer traffic that was in here. Unbelievable. And nothing in a package can compare to what Mother Nature offers. And it only took about 40 minutes to create all that food to get it down to ground level. I just had to show you that. February 18th, 2021. Been a hard winter. Okay, here we are on Saturday. It's about 30 some degrees out. And the reason I got this blanket over my head is because when I take it off, you're going to see what you're going to see. Pure white. So it really wouldn't resonate. But main thing I wanted to get across, it's 1:14 right now. Cutting some more trees down in that area that I said I needed to do more management in because there was no feeding at all because of the lodgepole pines. Now, I'm going to walk down here and show you what we're doing. Yeah, I'm not, it's too hard with this sun to film because you can't even see the viewfinder, so you don't know if you're in it or out of it. And so it's no use of wasting time. But I wanted to show you some things about selecting the trees that you want to go about. By the way, Joe, that little wedge did work pretty good. Drive that in there and it topples that tree. I picked that up, you know, as Larry King said, he never learned anything by talking. Sometimes you gotta listen, and it's really nice to get information from the subscribers. Anyhow, what I want to show you, this is an elm tree, and you can see it's going south fast. It's going to be dead. It's not going to have any other than firewood. And speaking of firewood, that was a small one of those hickories, and now this fall we'll be burning it as firewood. But as you could see, that as that was dying, that was going to do nothing. And you can look up there and see more dead limbs up there, but there's some live ones up there, and that's the ones I wanted to bring down. Now, if I risked waiting until next year, the whole tree might be dead and it wouldn't have any foliage, because this is the future of the elm trees in Iowa. And anyhow, but here's what we want. Look at all this new growth. I mean, that is intense. You can see all the little buds on there. And like I say, it's just a little after 1 on Saturday afternoon as we brought this down. Now, I want to show you a difference in trees. Now, as you can see, all these buds and all this new tender growth, it's real tender. You can't even snap it off. It's bright green in there. But as I learned, it's not really that green that gives them the higher calorie intake. It's that new bark that they ingest at the same time. Bark has more calories in it than the green substance. Now, right here, as you notice, was that lodgepole pine hickory. And you notice it has very little, it has a few buds on it, and it's green somewhat also. They'll eat the buds, but it has nowhere compared to what this elm treetop has compared to the hardwood. So it's preferable to cut the softwood down if you can, because like I said, it's not a whole lot of substance to that hardwood compared side by side. You can see the difference. This is the hardwood, this is the top, and all you got to do is look over here and see how much food will be offered with the elm or the softwood tree. And like I said, those trees were destined to be, that elm tree needed to be cut down because it's dying, and once dead, then it only becomes firewood. But right now, it can give back to the ecosystem, and mainly the deer forage. But had I let that tree go, you would have, you just have another dead tree in the woods. But look at all that browse. Now keep in mind, it's right at 1:30, I believe. Let's see, what time was it? It's It's 1:20 as I speak. 1:20 in the afternoon. Now we've got a good chance, 80 or 90% chance of between 1 and 3 inches of snow tonight down here. And you want to make sure you notice your forage is sticking up out of the snow. That way the deer can come in here and browse on it. There's absolutely no browsing going on in here because the canopy's too high. And all they were doing was traveling to and fro. Well, we're going to change that. And we'll get the cameras up and we'll see what happens in the next 24 hours. Like I said, I'm not filming the cutting of the trees because it's too hard to get the camera set up by yourself. I can't even see, I can't hardly see myself in here right now. So with that bright sun, with that snow, and that snow is between 10 and 12 inches deep. We've had 52 inches of snow recorded at the Des Moines airport so far this winter. And with more to come, we'll be approaching 60 inches before the winter's over. So I got some more work to do. We're just going to go ahead and saw this guy down as we walk up here to this tree. There was some growth going there that will turn into food, but for the majority of it, this elm tree was dead and just taking up space. It will have some food value this year, but like I said, the majority of it was dead on arrival, so it wasn't much use. I'm going to leave it like that. They'll browse all this little stuff off, but yeah, anyway, making winter food naturally for white-tailed deer. This one here we caught early enough because it was in the dying stage. Once we got that down on the ground, you can see all this dead wood it had in it. And all it was going to do is continue until the complete tree. That's all dead wood in there. And so we got it sawed down in time where the wildlife can still benefit from it. Now I suppose those other trees, the wildlife, the small wildlife, the bugs and the woodpecker will benefit from that, can become a bug tree, but for any value, it's met its demise. I gotta take you up here and show you up close the browsing pressure that went on. So you'll understand, this is no bullshit. This is fine in the field observation. I hope you can see for yourself all those white tips. It's all been chewed off. Just tremendous browsing pressure. And they ate it back, like I say. That's it. They've ate every little tip they could find. And you can see the white ends of it. And I mean, they got in there and they browsed. Every new growth was on there. And like I said, they won't eat this big stuff because, you know, number one, it's too hard to digest. But they really go after that tender growth. And like I said, I know this elm tree, it's going to make firewood, plus it made a lot of winter forage. But just to see, you take this limb right here, if I can get out of the shadow there, they've ate this whole, every one of those little twigs that come off of there, they nipped off. Unbelievable. Unbelievable. And this is pretty well browsed out. That's why it was time to go today on the 20th to cut down a new tree, because this has lost its drawing power. It's going to be interesting to see how fast they get on that new tree. We've seen how fast they got on this one, and we're going to have snow tonight. So it's the 20th of February, and it's got to be close to 3 o'clock right now. Now it's 2:15 right now. and we're leaving the woods. I gotta hang some cameras first, but then we'll just see how fast the deer find that new food source. But that right there is testimonial what you can do with a chainsaw. That provided a lot of calories for the deer herd. Well, that's it from the non-typical.